Mount the old steed here. This video contains information that will improve your dirt biking experience no matter what your skill level or age is. Hey, you wanna suck at riding? Then don't listen to this. I'm constantly surprised by how many new people are coming into our sport, and I have to admit there's a lot of people that watch my channel that are newer to the sport, and it's the types of questions that I get. So I'm like, you know what? I did a video about this topic 8 years ago, and I think it's time for a revisit because this is something that can actually improve our riding immensely and improve our experience. And basically any trainer that I've ever gone to has talked about doing this. Now, there are certain exceptions to these rules, but this is a very important thing for you to be able to control your motorcycle and make sure that you're riding the bike and not the other way around. We need to keep our toes pointed inward. And this is something I'm constantly thinking about. I was thinking about it on my last ride just a couple of days ago. The more we can squeeze the bike and the more we can control the bike with our lower body, the better. If we have our toes pointed out, when we're going, when we are absorbing bumps or jumps or whatever, look what happens to my knees. Like when my toes are pointed out, my knees go further away from the bike, and that isn't gripping at all. Now, it's very important to grip the motorcycle with our legs, not only because we're gonna have more control of the motorcycle, but it also helps us to conserve energy. And it just makes it so the bike isn't riding us, we're controlling it. This is for any time that you're going, quicker speeds. I'm talking second gear, third gear, fourth gear, any of the faster stuff, you're gonna wanna be pinching the bike, whether you're on a moto track or you're on a desert race or just on a faster trail ride or anything. When we can pinch the bike with our legs, we're saving the energy in our hands and we're controlling the motorcycle much more than if we're not gripping the bike, okay? So how's the easiest way to grip the bike? The easiest way to grip the bike is to point those toes inward, because as I point the toes inward, it creates a natural pinch point here with my knees along the side of the frame and the gas tank. So now I'm pinching the bike not only down here with my boots, all the way up through my shins and then my knees. I'm just getting like a much better grip of the bike. And with those toes pointed in, naturally, when I am absorbing the energy, it's forcing me to grip that bike, versus if I've got those toes pointed out, I'm just coming outward. I'm never gripping the bike. It's impossible. So I'm thinking often when I'm on the bike about keeping those toes pointed inward so that I can grip the bike better. It makes such a big difference. So a lot of trainers are going to stress that you keep those toes pointed inward so that you can grip the bike. And that's a really, really great thing. Moto guys, fast desert guys, whatever, they're gonna train you to keep those toes pointed in so that you're gripping the bike. I even have a secondary reason, which I've noticed over the years as I've been doing this for 10 or 12 years, that it's so often, especially when you're doing trail riding and you're in the woods or you're in the desert, you're going sometimes in deeper ruts and you've got like logs that are cut off and you've got tree branches that kind of stick out or you got rocks that stick out. When you have your toes pointed outward, it's so easy for your feet to get ripped off the bike. Like if you're just standing there and you got your toe pointed out, boom, it hits like a little root or something and it twists your knee around and rips you off the bike. Versus if your toe is pointed in, that thing just it'll kind of deflect off of your foot, or it'll just push your foot back and your foot will go straight back and it will be protected. So a lot of times I'm like following behind my boys if we're on a trail ride, and I'll be like, hey, if I've got like the Cardo headsets in our helmets, I'd be like, hey, Connor or Case, point those toes in so that you've got control of the bike and so your foot doesn't get ripped off and just like twist your knee around and like completely crank you. So those are two really, really good reasons to point toes in. And I would suggest that you think about this on every ride, whether you're a seasoned vet or you're a brand new rider. That's something that you can do that's super easy to just remember. Keep those toes pointed in. Also, while we're talking about our feet, you should be on the balls of your feet, not clear out on your toes, but the peg should be on the balls of your feet down here. So you're not gonna be in the middle. You don't wanna put the peg on your arch. You want it on the ball of your foot. So on that brake side, you're gonna have to move your foot forward to hit the brake. If you're resting your foot in the spot, I'll probably roll in a shot of this, but if you're resting your right foot such that you can reach the brake pedal, without moving it, your foot's in the wrong position. I'm sorry. You need to be on the balls of your feet so that you can control the bike and so that you've got more suspension in your ankle. And then when you do need to use that rear brake, you're shifting that foot forward. This is how all the best trainers do it. This is how all the best riders do it. So that's just another thing to think about with foot position. Those two things, keep your toes pointed in and stay on the balls of your feet. And those two things are gonna help your riding immensely. And as we just kind of like, that's a foundational thing that we can do. And as we layer some of these things on top of each other, we get better and better. Hey, look, if you don't have to take my word for it, because I'm not the greatest rider out there. I'm not a professional rider. I've never even raced. I just ride for fun, but I've picked some things up along the way, and that's a foundational thing. Other foundational things are keeping your elbows up. I'm horrible at it, but I know it's a good thing. Keep your elbows up instead of dropping your elbows down. It just helps to create better bracing when you're on the bike. You know, standing in the attack position when you're going through, sticking your butt out and getting in the bike like this, attack position. Those are great foundational things to do. A lot of times I'm pretty lazy. I'm standing up pretty straight on the bike, but that's because I'm on the bike for hours on end when we go out and do some of these rides. But yeah, toe position, foot position, point your toes in. The video that I did on this, it was 8-9 years ago or something. I'm out at a different place in the winter time. Now it's not winter time, and I'm standing next to this amazing TM racing bike, which is a sweepstakes bike for June. If you're watching this in the month of June 2023, this will be a sweepstakes bike. So if you go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, only place orders in the month of June, and that will give you entries for this and the KTM 300 XCW that's just out of the shop right over here that we're also giving away. And then it goes from June 1 to June 30th. Other ways that you can support Dirt Bike Channel, and probably my favorite way, is for you to use the links to Rocky Mountain ATV. It's the one down in the video description here, and it's also over on my website, dirtbikechannel.com. It says Shop Rocky Mountain ATV. When you click on that link, then you just go to Rocky Mountain ATV and you can order anything they sell, and it gives credit to Dirt Bike Channel. That gives a kickback to me, and it helps to fund these types of videos, the bike reviews, all the things that we do. So that's a really, really great way to support what we're doing. Rocky Mountain ATV is an awesome company, and love doing business with them. I think that's mostly what I have for you guys. If you have questions, you can always email me. I've got a contact form on my website. Or you can just email me, kyle@dirtbikechannel.com, and I try to get back to people within, a few days or whatnot. If you've got questions about bike setup or toe position or whatever, or what bike should I get, the more information you can give me, the better. Like, I get emails from people all the time that just say, "Hi Kyle, looking to get into dirt biking, what bike should I get?" That's not enough information. I need to know your height, your weight, your age. I need to know where you're riding. I need to know what types of riding you want to do. And then either I can send you an email just saying, hey, here are some bikes to look for, or we can set up a call and we can go through that. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. So remember, point those toes in. It's a very small thing, but it's gonna help your riding immensely. And until next time, leave a single track.